Hey, house guests! Welcome to today's Big Brother 25 updates and spoilers. Happy Saturday! Our house guests of the day are Logan Murphy and Adriana Howard. Thank you both so much for the support. We could not do this without you, and we appreciate it so much. So thank you again. And if you guys want to be house guests of the day, check out our Patreon link in the info box below. Only $1 for a holla. Woo! And before we get started, I also want to thank yesterday's super chatters because that's another fantastic way to support our channel. So Susan Pengilly, Jack D65, Wendy Will, Mary Ellen L, Benjamin, David Cushmore, Mark Piergiallo, Connor Benson, David Cushmore, and Sean Davis. Thank you all so much for your super chats. Oh my goodness, it's been such a treat having Big Brother back this week and like having them actually playing the game. We have things to talk about today. So when we left off yesterday, Cameron, the HOH, was preparing to make his nominations. He wants to stick to his plan that he was pushing last week to put up Felicia and Mimi. Of course, Felicia is his target. And I'm saying, of course, as in he's been saying that so much, but also, like, to me, that doesn't make sense. Why would you target Felicia at this point? But that's what he's doing. So he's already making plans for next week, since this week is already settled in his mind, right? He feels like it's set. Felicia's going to leave. He's going to have a successful HOH. And now he wants to plan for next week. So he's already strategizing with the Fugitives, Matt and Jag. And Jag has been pushing for Mimi to be the target next week instead of Corey. Cameron wants Corey out next week, right? But yeah, Jag is like, he wants Mimi to go because that is going to affect his game the least, basically. And Jag's argument was, if we take Corey out too soon, all the girlies are going to band together and target us, meaning like Blue, America, Mimi. That's the last thing the guys want, right? They don't want the girls who have won 0 competitions to start working together and come after them. So another important decision that the Fugitives made yesterday, they have decided that Bowie should be their number 4 instead of Blue. And again, this is their number 4 outside of their alliance of 3. So she wouldn't actually like be included in the Fugitives, but she's like their next person. What an honor, right? What an honor to not be included in the alliance. So anyway, yeah, they're preferring Bowie over Blue at this point. They feel like Blue only thinks about her own game, whereas Bowie is for the team, which is funny to me because, first of all, isn't everyone thinking about their own game and making decisions for themselves and all that? Yes. I guess their issue is that she's so open about it. But like, isn't everyone doing that? Also, I think that Bowie is playing in a similar way, right? We've seen her float back and forth, up, down, all over, depending on who's in power. But I guess she's just like way more skilled at it. And part of that is because she's like playing less. She's floating to power, but she's not exactly like making a lot of game commitments here. So they seem to think that Bowie is for the team. Sure, if that's what you want to think. Cameron had his one-on-ones leading up to nominations. We talked about that yesterday. He let both Felicia and Mimi know that they're going up on the block. And he did tell Mimi, you're just a pawn. We all love you. You're going to be safe, blah, blah, blah. Felicia, on the other hand, is really not happy that she's going up on the block. She's wondering, first of all, why is Cirie no longer a target for people? Right? She's thinking Cirie should be up on the block, not her. Also, she was pushing for Corey to go up. And it was like kind of a sketchy pitch for Corey to go up because she was telling Cameron, let's not beat around the bush here. It's pretty clear that you have a thing for America. And Cameron got really pissed about this. And she was like, if you take out Corey, you'll be able to get closer to America. Corey will not be in the jury house. You will be in jury with America. And yeah, Cameron was like, what the hell? Why are you saying this? And I guess Felicia told Cameron, go and talk to America about it because she keeps telling all of us how you've been chasing her around this whole time. But every time this comes up and people are talking about it, the feeds switch or they turn off. So like, I don't know why Big Brother keeps blocking these conversations, but it's very sketchy and weird. Yeah. Anyway, Cameron let Felicia know, I don't trust you enough to work with you. Also, I don't want you in the jury house because I know you're going to have a lot of influence over the votes. And this was another opportunity for Felicia to try and throw Cirie under the bus because she was like, you think I'm going to have influence over the votes? What about Cirie? She is the biggest persuader in this house, but people are not seeing it that way. Ugh. All right. So before we get into the new stuff, oh my God, Connor Betson, thank you so much for the super chat. I'm gonna read your comment after, but thank you so much. You're so generous, and we really appreciate that. My goodness. All right. So they had the nomination ceremony, and as expected, Cameron nominated Felicia and Mimi. And as we know, Felicia is his target. I'm pretty sure Felicia is aware that she's Cameron's target at this point. And I also have to mention, we talked about yesterday, America and Corey have already discussed possibly keeping Felicia instead of Mimi this week. And Corey was saying, we should wait until we know who's going to be on the block after the POV ceremony before we talk about this more. But America was really making the case that Mimi has a lot more connections with people, or at least better connections with people than Felicia does. She's got more potential to win competitions. So it makes sense, right, that you would take out Mimi before Felicia. But anyway, I don't know if that's actually going to be a thing that comes up again, but that is something that was discussed. Okay, so after nominations, Mimi is in the storage room, pacing around, doing her camera talk. And she says, well, I woke up this morning fully expecting to go up on the block, right? It's done now. I can relax. I can take a deep breath. And she says, if you don't win the power veto, you're in trouble. So you really need to focus on that, right? Got to channel all of your energy into winning that veto. So then Cirie comes in. She's giving Mimi a hug. And Mimi's like, I'm okay. I wasn't surprised about it. I knew this week was going to be real spooky, right? Last week was scary week, but this week is spooky. Cirie says there's still the power veto, right? She might not even be up on the block by Thursday. And Mimi agrees. She's like, I'm not going to get caught up in the drama. I'm not going to be running my mouth. I haven't done that this whole time. I'm not going to start now. So Cirie says, if it's any consolation, I don't think you're the one that they want out. Yeah. And Mimi's like, that's what Cameron told me. And she says Cameron was really respectful when he told me I'd be going up on the block, as respectful as you can be in that situation. He knows that I don't BS, so he just told me straight up. And she says she really appreciated that. So Cirie tells Mimi, hold your head up, keep smiling. It's going to be okay. All right. Meanwhile, Felicia is chatting with America and Blue out on the hammock. And Blue's like, how are you doing, Miss Girl? The Miss Girl thing is killing me. Felicia says, I'm so tired of sitting on the damn block. She does not want to have to pack up all of her stuff again. And America's like, well, we're not there yet, right? There's still the power veto. And Felicia's like, yeah, I need to win this POV. I want to be able to take myself off of the block. So America and Blue are pumping Felicia up. Like, you got this. It's going to be all good. You can win this. You have won an HOH, so it is possible. And this could be any sort of competition, right? It's not over yet. But Felicia's also bummed that she's next to Mimi. That's her girl. They have a final two. They're like mother-daughter in there. So she's upset that if the nominations stay the same, she's going to have to campaign against Mimi. So America's like, well, if you need anything, we're here. Just let us know. And Felicia says, if I don't win the POV, I'm going to need 4 votes. So if you can help me out with that. She's hilarious. Yeah, so they were all laughing about that, but I'm pretty sure Felicia was also kind of serious, right? Like, she's trying to maybe line up these votes as early as possible. But anyway, a little later, Matt and Blue are chatting on the hammock. And Matt says, we need to start talking soon about what we want to do if we win HOH next week. And Matt says, I think it would be ideal if one of us two specifically were to win out of anyone else in our group. He says Jag winning would still be good, but I don't think that he would take a shot at Corey in America, right? Blue and Matt are both very much of the opinion that Corey should be leaving ASAP. I think part of the reason that Matt wants Corey out so badly is because Jag he just can't quit Corey, right? Jag is wanting to work with Corey, and that is taking away from how much he wants to work with Matt. So I think Matt is getting a little nervous that Jag is also close to Corey. I think that could be a big part of it. But Blue also feels like Jag doesn't want Cameron to go yet. So Jag is like all about keeping these big targets in the house. And Blue's like, we got to get this going. We got to get these guys out of here. And she's noticed Jag kind of has a tell. When he does not agree with something, he gets really quiet. Right? When he's excited about something and he's on board with something, he's all blah, 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 talking about it. But if he's not into it, he gets super quiet. And Blue says, when I brought up Cameron needing to go, Jag got really quiet. So apparently he does not want that. Correct. So Matt says, we need to get rid of Cameron soon. Now, it's unclear at this time if he's just BSing because he's talking to Blue or if he's for real, but he says it is going to have to be a backdoor to get Cameron out. And they're only going to have so many more weeks to pull that off because soon everyone's going to be playing for the power veto. So Matt says, when he thinks about it, though, at the same time, he'd kind of rather get rid of the people that aren't really playing and keep in the contenders, right? And Matt and Blue agree they need to play it smart. They really need to think over these decisions before they go through with anything. So then they're talking about how much fun they've been having hanging out with Bowie now that they're getting closer to her. And Blue, of course, has to get a dig in there against Corey in America. She's like, I love hanging out with Corey in America. I really do. But sometimes they're just not funny. And Matt's like, I'm glad we agree on this. He says, this was actually really funny. Matt says that Corey or America will like say a joke and he won't react to it. And then they'll say it again, thinking that he didn't hear it. And in his head, he's like, no, I heard it the first time. It just wasn't funny. But here these two go again, right? They have a lot to say about Corey and America. And they say that they keep repeating the same jokes over and over again. It's just not funny. Okay. So Matt says, back to the game. Matt says he's thinking this week should probably go pretty smoothly, right? They have a feeling that Felicia and Mimi are going to still be up on the block on Thursday. But Matt thinks it's going to be kind of a tiresome week because there's going to be a lot of campaigning with Felicia in danger here. So then back to the whole Cameron conversation. Blue says Cameron being in the house is good for now, right? He is a bigger target in front of Matt and Jag. People are going to want to target Cameron first. But Blue says if Cameron stays too long, he's going to win this whole thing, right? He's a super strong competitor. He's mopping the floor with people. There's a chance that he could win out to the end if he gets really close to it. So then Matt brings up Corey in America again, and he's like, I know that those two are a lot closer to Jag than they are to me. And Blue says, yeah, same. They are also closer to Jag than they are to me. And that is a concern for them. So Matt says, we're going to have to break up that little trio of Jag, Corey, and America just to make sure that Jag is 100% with us, right? He's got that split interest right now between Corey and America and then Matt and Blue. So Blue says, also, Jag is a really good social player, and that's something that we need to be on the lookout for. Because if there's a situation where it's like Blue and Jag up on the block, Jag's got all those connections that are going to keep him safe over her. So then Blue is asking Matt, do you think that Jag made that deal with Cameron? And the deal that she's referring to is the one for safety that Jag made during Cameron's second HOH, when Cameron pulled the old switcheroo and put Izzy and Felicia up on the block, even though he said he was going to put up Jag and Blue. And he told Jag, I'll keep you off the block if you promise to keep me safe if you win HOH. But also he was like, you can't tell anybody about this. And if I find out that you did, I will put you up as the replacement nominee. Now, we know that Jag did not reveal that to anyone, whereas Cameron was spilling his guts to Jared and like everybody else after that. So Blue says Jag always denied that to me. And that didn't feel great, right? And Matt's like, yeah, well, he only told me about it after Jared blew up that whole situation. And he couldn't tell anyone, or else Cameron would have put him up on the block, right? So that's why he wasn't telling people. So he's trying to, vouch for Jag here and be like, don't get caught up on that. He's trustworthy. But Blue says right now, Jag and Corey are both kissing Cameron's ass. And she's like, I don't think Cameron's buying it because he is smart, but she definitely sees some butt kissing going on there. You know what's not smart? Talking all this crap about Jag to Jag's number one bruh, Matt. That seems like a bad idea to me. I feel like this is going to make its way back to Jag, right? But anyway, a little later, Jag and Matt are chatting on the hammock. And Jag says, oh, Cameron told me he wants to talk to the two of us about Blue. I'm not really sure what it's about, but we got to do that later. And we will get to that. But the feeds cut away from them for a few minutes. When they come back, Matt is saying, we're going to be in the crosshairs if Cameron is evicted from this house soon, right? Once that big target is out of the way, people are going to start looking at us more. And Jag says, yeah, that's why I was thinking it might be better to keep Cameron around. Oh no. So Matt is really nervous though that if Cameron stays and wins another HOH, he can't play this coming week, right? But if he wins after that, Matt's a little bit nervous that Cameron might want to take a shot at them. So Matt says we really need to weigh our options here and see what our best move is. So then Jag starts talking about Blue, the lady of the hour. Everyone's talking about her. And he's again saying Blue is always going to do what's best for her. She's always going to pick herself over anyone else. It sounds so ridiculous because, like, isn't everyone doing that? But then Cameron comes over and he asks Matt and Jag, like, who should I pick if I get house guest choice? Who should I pick to play for the veto? And he's got it narrowed down to Matt or Bowie at this point. And Matt's like, yeah, I'm down to play. But Cameron is wondering, is it a good idea to pick Matt? Like, of course, Matt is a strong competitor. He's on a roll. But should we try to hide that we're working together? Should I pick Bowie instead? People have already been pairing me and her up. Is it going to look weird if I pick you? So then he's like, well, actually, no, maybe not, because I've already picked you before, so it's not that weird. So after this conversation, it seems like Cameron would pick Matt to play. But then, like, it was a little bit confusing after he walked away because Matt seemed to be under the impression that Cameron said he would pick Bowie to play. It was confusing. But Matt just really hopes that Cameron is not trying to pull some backdoor move. And then Matt is going to have to get more blood on his hands and do other people's dirty work again. You know how upset he was about that last week. But anyway, Corey and Jag have a little chat in the backyard. And this was, I think, kind of an important conversation. Corey says, I think Blue has a really good chance to win HOH soon. She's been doing really well in competitions. She hasn't won yet, but she has gotten close in quite a few comps. And if she does win, Corey says she poses a danger to their four, meaning Corey, America, Jag, and Matt. So Corey's like, I'm not saying we have to target her, but Corey says he feels like Blue is targeting him. And he is correct. Blue is targeting Corey big time. Also, Jag, he's got somebody looking at him, right? They really feel like Mimi is targeting Jag. Yes, Mimi is very much like Felicia, wanting to target Matt and Jag and break those two up. So Corey is like, obviously, it would be phenomenal if somebody from our group wins HOH next week. But what can we do to make sure that we're going to be okay if we don't win HOH? So he's like, how do we get Blue and Mimi off of our asses if we don't win HOH next week? So Corey is thinking, maybe we could get Mimi to target Blue. He's got some dirt to share with Mimi because Blue has been going around saying, oh, Mimi did nothing at all for 60 days. And she's only starting to play now because she's on the block. She's in trouble, right? So Corey figures if Mimi hears that Blue was saying that, she's probably not going to be very happy with Blue. So that's one angle. He thinks he could maybe work a little bit. Corey is also thinking maybe if Blue wins, we should really just lay down the law with her and tell her hey, if you act against the five, if you act against the five's interests, you're not going to be in the five anymore. I don't know if that's the best approach. I feel like people do not take kindly to like basically threats in the Big Brother house or in life. So I don't know if that's the best move, but it's an idea. Corey says Blue is always going to pick Suri over us. Yeah, she has gotten quite close to Suri, and she made that promise to Jared that she's going to get Suri as far as she can in this game. And Corey says also he's heard that Blue has told America that she wants the girls to make it to the end. I don't think so, but I don't think that she wants that, right? Because we've seen how she's been playing. But Corey says America, however, is down to go to the final four with you, me, and Matt. And he says no one else is going to want to go to the end with all of us, right? Because we're such big threats. But America is on board for that. I don't think she really is. Corey and America do not want to go to the end with Matt and Jag, right? Because they are strong competitors and they are super tight. But Corey is playing it up right now. So then Corey goes over his boot list. He says he wants Blue out next, then Cameron, then Mimi, and then Suri. You guys don't want to take out Cameron next? I think you should maybe take out Cameron next. Well, he's not eligible for HOH. Like, come on. But with the rest of these picks, obviously he wants Blue out because Blue is targeting him hardcore. And then he figures Mimi should go after Cameron because she is more likely to win competitions than Suri. And Corey just doesn't see Suri as big of a threat once Blue is gone. Because, like, who does she have at that point, right? All right. So a few minutes later, Jag chats with Matt in the HOH room. And it seems like Jag's conversation with Corey really stuck with Jag. Jag immediately says, Corey and America are good for our game. He says Corey knows that Blue wants to go after him, right? That's out there now. And he told me that Blue and Suri are very close, closer than we think, like final two close. And Jag says, honestly, it checks out with what we know, right? Because Blue told us that she wants to go to the end with the two of us, Matt and Jag, and Suri. So it checks out there. And Jag says, we really need to start thinking about who we want to move forward with. He says, I think Cam is good for us to keep right now, as long as we can trust that he's not going to turn around and target us. I mean, I haven't heard anything about him targeting them yet, but you know how quickly Cameron can change his mind on things. So who knows if he would try to like go for them at some point. Matt says, some pros for Cameron. We've heard this before. Cameron is always going to be a target in front of them. He's a shield. He's a strong competitor. And Jag says, yeah, I think for now it's okay to keep him. I don't think he needs to go next week. Are you sure? Please, somebody take Cameron out. All right. So then Jag starts breaking things down. And he feels like if America or Corey were to win HOH next week, they would target Blue. And Jag is feeling okay with that at this point. If you asked him a few weeks ago, I don't think he would be saying the same thing. But he is really on this train right now that Blue is out for herself. She cannot be trusted. And honestly, like, I can't fault him because she has made a lot of moves that should be questionable to Jag. I think one of the big things here also was when Blue was like really pushing for Corey to be the next target and saying like, I know this isn't like the best thing for you guys, but for my personal game, like I need Corey out. So I think that really struck a chord. But Jag says if you or I win, we'll target Mimi, whatever, like nothing really changes there. Corey and Blue will still be after each other. And he feels like Bowie will probably also target either Bowie or Mimi, right? Because she's supposed to be with their group now, Bowie. So Jag says the ideal person for us to go far with is Bowie. He feels like she's super loyal. He's talking basically like final three, Matt, Jag, and Bowie. And he says, I think that Blue would take a shot at us before Corey and America do. Whoa. So Blue is like really moving up on that target list, even for Jag. So Jag says, Corey just told me that America is locked in with us and she wants to go to the Final Four with us. So this Corey conversation, again, has really like planted some seeds in Jag's brain. And Jag says, what we need to do here, we need to make sure that Bowie is closest with us over anyone else, right? We need to make sure that she is a number for us over anyone. Okay. So Jag says also for this week, Felicia needs to go, right? And then he says Blue or Mimi after that. He says even if Corey and America do try and take a shot at us at some point, he would rather have them go after him than Blue because he feels like if he needs to play for that veto, he would have a much better chance of winning against Corey and America than against Blue. Blue has just had a much better showing in competitions, and he feels like he'd have more of a chance to beat Corey or America. So a lot of interesting stuff in there. So then Cameron joins Matt and Jag in the HOH room. And Cameron says, all right, I told you guys I wanted to talk about Blue with you. And he says, I talked to Blue, and she said that she wants to work with us, right? Just like we thought. Cameron says, however, I did not expect her to say that her biggest target is Corey. Cameron says he thought that Blue might want Suri out. What? Have you not noticed that Blue is like constantly with Suri now? What? So Cameron asks, how do you feel about Blue wanting Corey out? And of course, Matt's like, I don't think it'd be that bad if he went next, right? Matt is all about it. But Cameron wants to know what Jag thinks, right? Because he's like, you're the closest out of any of us to Corey. So like, what do you think? And Jag is kind of like, he doesn't really give a clear answer, right? It's pretty much a riddle. But Cameron says, I think that Corey is going to take a shot at us the first chance he gets, right? We can't trust him. So Jag is like, I don't know. Right now, I don't think Corey takes a shot at us, right? I think he's got other targets. So then Bowie comes in. That conversation's over. But the convo shifts to how paranoid Felicia is right now, and she's getting a little testy up on the block. So Cameron says, I can tell you guys what Felicia tried to pitch to me, but it was effing bizarre. So he's referring to the America stuff, how Felicia was pushing for Corey to go up so that Cameron could get closer to America. But we don't get to hear this because Big Brother cuts the feeds. Why can't we hear about this? But then when the feeds come back, they're talking about how Felicia was trying to throw Suri under the bus, saying that Suri is the biggest persuader in the house. And they're just not getting it. They're like, we see what you're doing, Felicia. You're trying to persuade us to think that it's Suri, but it's you. Wake up, people. You are playing this game with a Survivor legend, Suri, one of the best to ever play. They don't seem to realize that. Yeah. But anyway, they talk about what will happen if Mimi wins the power veto and pulls herself down. Obviously, Cameron's going to have to come up with a replacement nominee if that happens. So Cameron says, I'm not putting any of us in this room up as pawns, right? So he would only have 4 people to choose from: Corey, America, Blue, or Suri. So Cameron, of course, wants Felicia to go this week. And to make that happen, he thinks that Blue is the only option out of those 4 who would survive against Felicia on the block. Why do you think that? I honestly feel like there is a lot of anti-Blue sentiment right now, and I think it is possible that 4 votes could show up to take out Blue, right? Mimi, Corey, America, you just need 1 more to get rid of Blue. So I guess Cameron's just assuming that everyone's on the same page with him wanting Felicia to go. It's very much like his other HOH week, his second HOH week, when he wanted Izzy to go, and he just assumed everyone's going to go for it. But it only happened with like a last minute flip, basically. So yeah, anyway, it sounds like Blue would be the replacement nominee if Mimi were to come down. However, Cameron did not come up with a plan for what would happen if Felicia wins the power veto and pulls herself down. He's just so confident that that's not going to happen. All right. So later, This is where things get a little interesting. Felicia's in the kitchen with Matt and Blue, and Felicia's asking them, if I get House Kiss Choice tomorrow, would one of you guys be willing to play in the Power Veto for me? So they both say yes. So then Felicia asks, would you be willing to pull me down if you win? Matt immediately says yes. That's a lie. He says, if you want me to do it, I will. Cameron won't be happy about it, but yeah, I'll use the veto on you if I win. Blue is like, I haven't won a lot. Okay, well, I've won nothing, but I've been close a few times, so they're laughing about this. So funny. And Blue's like, yeah, like I'll use it on you if I win. We're gonna come back to this because it's gonna come up again. But just a quick thing here. Jag, Matt, and Bowie are bonding over exercising, and they establish their triangle of trust. I guess it's like an unofficial alliance, final three kind of thing for them. And Jag was basically saying, let's let Blue and Corey target each other, and we'll kind of just like chill and let it happen. All right. So later, Blue and Cameron are whispering about Felicia in the dining area. And Blue brings up, oh, Felicia's already campaigning. They're laughing at her attempts, like, oh, so ridiculous. And then they're talking about how Felicia was throwing Suri under the bus. So then as they're talking about this, Felicia comes in and she's like, you guys don't have to whisper about me. Oh, so then there's like silence for a few moments while Felicia is in the kitchen doing her thing. And Cameron just asked Blue, so what was the last movie that you saw in theaters? So freaking awkward. Okay, but it gets a lot worse. Later, Blue tries to apologize to Felicia, and it's not good. It's really not good. Blue does not handle this well, in my opinion. Blue says to Felicia, I'm so sorry that you overheard that. Obviously, I didn't know that you were there. Apparently, Felicia may have heard a lot more than that because Cameron and Blue were sitting at the dining room table. Felicia was in the living room in one of those chairs, like against the wall, not far from the dining room table. So Blue is explaining, with Cameron being HOH and being back in the game, girl, I have to kiss some ass. And she says, he was asking me what you asked me and Matt because he was like insisting on knowing. He said he could read your body language. He knew that you were asking us something. And she says, I told Cameron that you were asking if we would use the power veto on you if one of us were to win. And I told Cameron that if we got picked to play and we won, we wouldn't use it. So then Blue is like, but Miss Girl, you really think that I'd pick Cameron over you? Yes. So she's like, I'm sorry. I didn't know you were there. I was trying to protect me and Matt by, saying that to Cameron. And then she says again, but come on, Miss Girl. The Miss Girl thing is so annoying. She says, if I get picked to play and I win, I would obviously take you down. It reads so fake. And Felicia knows it. Felicia's face during this whole apology was like she was not buying what Blue was selling here. So Blue's like, I'm really sorry. I hope it didn't come out like I really meant it. You know where I stand with you. You know I don't rock with Cameron. It sounded so not genuine. So Felicia's like, okay, I get it. It's okay. Like, I get that this is a game. Sometimes you have to lie to people, blah, blah, blah. But Felicia's saying next week, someone's got to be willing to go after Cameron, right? You have this opportunity. He's not going to be able to play for the HOH. You guys got to go for him or you're going to blow it, right? He's going to make it all the way to the end. So Blue is very much on board with targeting Cameron soon. I mean, we know that she wants to target Corey first, but she knows that Cameron's going to have to go soon. But yeah, she really put her foot in her mouth with this whole thing. So in other news, the feeds went down for a bit last night while Big Brother put some like scary faces in the mirrors, which we were begging for last week during Scary Week, right? But no, it happened this week, not during Scary Week, because they are doing a movie tie-in for this week's Power Veto competition for the new Exorcist movie. So I guess they saved it for this week. Too bad things couldn't like line up more so that they could make it all in 1 week. But anyway, whatever. So I didn't hear too much about the faces situation. Whatevs. When the feeds came back on after it, like half the people in the house were already asleep. So anyway, today, things are heating up. Felicia and Cameron had some drama this morning. It happened off feeds, but according to Felicia's retell of what happened, Felicia saw Cameron sitting on the counter in the kitchen and she was disgusted by it. So she asked him, "Do you do that at home? Do you sit on the counter at home?" And Cameron was like, "Yeah, I do." I'm sorry, but that's disgusting. That's really gross. I do not like when people sit on the counter with their butts. But Felicia's like, okay, well, most people don't do that. So then she's walking away, and Cameron tells Matt, "Oh, Felicia felt the need to talk to me this morning." And Felicia heard him and asked, "What'd you mean by that? Why'd you say that?" She says, "I talk to you every day." And Cameron's like, "Well, you didn't say good morning to me." And Felicia's like, "That's because the first thing I saw, you were sitting on the counter." So anyway, I think that was pretty much as far as it went, but it was like so dramatic to Felicia and Cameron. Felicia's ready to blow at this point, right? She is not putting up with anything from anyone. But they had the POV player picks. Can you believe Sari has still not been chosen to play in a veto competition? That's insane. This whole season, never played in a veto. Wild. But our players, we've got Cameron the HOH, Felicia and Mimi, the two nominees. So then Cameron drew Matt's name. Felicia drew America. And then Mimi got House Guest Choice. And she chose blue. This was definitely a concern to a few people because they're like, wow, Mimi picked blue. It's kind of almost fueling that theory like, oh my God, blue, Mimi, America, they might all team up if we get rid of Corey too soon, that kind of thing. But yeah, the feeds have been down for a while now for the Power Veto competition. Again, it is supposed to be a tie-in to the new Exorcist movie. We'll see who wins this one. I believe it is being held in that like offsite basement situation because the backyard was open like leading up to the competition. So I think it's going to be in the basement. But yeah, that's where we're at. So, or maybe it'll be back in that like outdoor area where they had the Nether Gorgon thing. Who knows? But I want to thank you all so much for watching. If you want to check back later, I will post the winner of the POV comp in the info for the spoiler. And just a reminder, I don't do the spoilers on Sundays because that's my half day off. But we'll be talking about all the fallout from the POV and everything on Monday. And of course, recapping tomorrow night's episode, right? Okay, so I want to thank today's super chatters because you're all amazing. Jody Cortez, thank you so much. Jody says, happy weekend. Woo! And he says, wow, Red had a live TikTok and said a lot. Oh, was he spilling a lot of tea? I'd like to hear about that. I want to know what he has to say. Anita Starr, thank you so much. And what a cute little fox. Oh, Connor Benson, thank you so much for the very, very, very generous super chat. And Connor says, hi, Maddie. 2 notes here. I'm rooting so hard for Mimi, but she's barely made any moves or plans. And I feel like she doesn't have the sauce to really make a move for herself moving forward. And the last note, have you thought about doing a deep dive of the season? Okay. I would love to see Mimi do more, right? I felt like she was going to be such a strong player going into the season, knowing that she has a background in politics. She works in Washington. I thought she was really going to be wheeling and dealing, but she has taken the exact opposite approach, right? She doesn't want to get all twisted up in lies and gameplay. So she's just done nothing. Which is not very entertaining, and it does not make for a strong resume to present if you're in the final 2. So I would love to see her step up some more, but I just don't know that she even has the game knowledge to make it happen. Who knows? But yeah. And then the second part, have we thought about doing a deep dive of the season? I know that Rob has a podcast, does stuff like that every season. I just don't know if that's our bag. Right? I mean, they're so good at that. And I just don't know that. Honestly, I don't want to. When the season's over, I'm over it. I'm done. I'm moving on to other things. I'm honored that you would like to see that from me, but I don't think that I would have the energy to do it. But so much respect for people that do stuff like that. And thank you again so much, Connor. We really appreciate it. Valerie Newton, thank you so much. Valerie says, thanks again for the awesome update yet again. Oh, thank you. Smartest move would be Suri versus Corey. Ooh, that would be interesting, right? I feel like those two, yeah, that would be very strong nominations for sure. I think Corey would definitely go in that situation, right? If it was the two of them up on the block. People do not seem threatened by Suri at this point, which is wild to me. I get that she's not winning competitions, but like, what? You know who you're playing with, right? Anyway, Jack D65, thank you so much. We really appreciate it. And that's where we're at. So, thank you all so much for being here. I hope you enjoy the rest of your weekend. And again, I will post the winner of the Power Veto competition in the info later when we find out who won. So, have a great night. Thanks so much for watching. And until next time, much love. Bye, everybody.